Greetings, Neo-Swedenborgians, and welcome to Out of the Blue number 519C. Today I'm going to introduce more about Neo-Swedenborgianism, and I'm going to pose a question, a Neo-Swedenborgianistic type question. But I'm going to give a little background. First, I'll say that the giraffe is the symbol of Neo-Swedenborgianism because giraffes teach us to stick out our necks. Sometimes you have to stick out your neck. So the giraffe is our mascot. But the symbol of Neo-Swedenborgianism is the 12-spoked ship's wheel. Similar to the 8-spoked ship's wheel of Buddhism. But it does not represent, its meaning is not similar to the Buddhist symbol. So we have this 12-spoked ship's wheel, and we have a place called Camp Woodshed. And woodshed is a verb in the history of jazz. Woodshed means to go out and practice your instrument, because they used to be a woodshed back in the house, and these saxophone players would go back in the woodshed and practice. And so woodshed is both a noun and a verb. To shed, to woodshed. Somebody might say you just need to hit the shed for a while, whatever. So Camp Woodshed, if you've been following along with this story, you see me practice the violin and play the violin and try to get better on the violin, and it's a very, very slow process. So the reason we have this 12-spoked wheel is because of the 12 keys. So this Neo-Swedenborgianism is tied up with me and my life right now has been a musical journey. So if you want to discover Neo-Swedenborgianism, then you should have some sort of axe of some sort. Maybe a guitar, maybe a bass, maybe a harmonica. But in fact, you already have one in your vocal cords, your hands, your feet, your heart. You can see your whole body as a musical instrument. Okay? But that's not really what I wanted to talk about today. What I wanted to talk about today was questions Neo-Swedenborgians ask. Or more specifically, one specific question. This is my cat Tulip, deceased, and my friend Sadoki painted Tulip. And if you look at this picture, this is the way Tulip looked at everybody else. This is not a very friendly look on her eye, especially her left eye. So Sadoki was looking at Tulip, and I could tell, because I know Tulip, that she didn't like being looked at. She didn't like to be looked at by anybody but me. She was a one-man cat, and I was her man. And so everybody else looked at her. Everybody else who came up to her, she would be like, what do you think you're doing? So I really appreciate this painting by Sadoki. And if you like it, you can look up Sadoki Art, I think is his website, sadokiart.com or something like that. Sadoki, his name is Emmanuel Kalimili Sadoki, if you like this. But anyway, what sort of questions do Neo-Swedenborgians ask? And we're going to just talk about one specific question right now. Because we talk about, a lot of times, the NDE, near-death experience. And curiously, sometimes in near-death experiences, well, the typical near-death experience, person dies, tunnel of light, they go down the tunnel of light, and then somebody meets them. Sometimes it's grandma, sometimes it's a kind of glowing spirit, and sometimes it's a beloved pet. And I have two in the comments, not in the comments, I mean in the description, I will link two separate different links of people who were met by their pets at the afterlife. And one of them specifically, the woman says, whoever's in charge of arranging the meeting she says, did the perfect job, because she was met by her little dog, and her little dog took her on a tour of heaven. Whereas more often they're met by a family member like grandma or something, and grandma gives them a tour of heaven. But this woman says that being met by her little dog was absolutely perfect, and whoever arranges the meeting got it exactly right. So she was met by her dog, and then there's a separate one. I'll link both of them in the description. A separate one was met by two dogs. And so you can be met by your pet. And I'll just say, so the question we're going to ask today is, if you were to be met in the perfect place, the most beautiful place to you, by the most perfect person to you, what would that be, right? So would I be met? Who would I be met by, right? Because both my grandmas are dead. Would I be met by grandma? But Gramps was more my friend. Grandma wasn't all that warm. So if I had to think about this question, who would meet me and where? It might be my sister Lois, maybe. It might be Gramps, or it might be Gramps and Lois. And as for where, I really don't know. But the odds are that you will not be met by my grandma, right? You'll be met by whoever's perfect for you. So the question is, who would be the perfect person to welcome you into the spirit world? That's the kind of questions Neo-Swedenborgianists ask, because it is all absolutely, all right, it's all absolutely perfect for you. So the question is, yeah, go ahead. So the question is, hey, actually, don't shut the door. I want the breeze.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, so the question is, who would be perfect to meet you? Because this is all extraordinarily personal. Because the idea of the NDE and the idea of Swedenborg, and what they all say is that they see this light and they go down this tunnel of this light and they arrive at this other land of light. And what we Neo-Swedenborgianists are saying is that the idea that you're going way off there somewhere is in fact an illusion. And what is happening is actually you are turning into your own self. So this is the ultimate self-responsibility. You are responsible for your own afterlife. There's a saying that says, life is what you make it. And what we say, Neo-Swedenborgianists, is the afterlife is what you make it. Your afterlife is what you make it. So you think, well, the perfect person is going to meet you. Would it be Jimi Hendrix? Let's say you're a Jimi Hendrix fan. Well, it's your spirit world, as in the world of your feelings. And no matter how strongly you feel about Jimi Hendrix and Jimi Hendrix's music, there's probably somebody closer to your heart than Jimi Hendrix. Or another friend of mine was saying, another painter, Wilfredo's a watercolorist. Sadoki works in acrylics. So Wilfredo had a pet spider, and I was telling Wilfredo this, and he said, "What about my pet spider?" And the answer is yes. Why not? Because the only part of the question that matters is it's your spirit world, your emotional world. So if you have an emotional connection, if he had this pet spider that he liked, and if it means something to him, he's entering his own world, right? And so you are very likely, if, let's say, you had a dog, and the sad thing about dogs is they only live 15 years. And so everybody, or many people, have lost their dog that they were close to. And could you meet your dog in heaven? And Neo-Swedenborgianistically, the answer is yes. Not only yes, but yes, it is very likely that whoever you most want to meet, whoever is the most perfect person for you, is who you will meet. All right? So that might be enough for today. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.